And problem of car recall is coming from all automakers across the world now. Tesla has joined the bandwagon. Electric car maker Tesla is recalling 11,000 models of X sports utility vehicles worldwide due to a faulty locking mechanism in their rear seats that raises the risk of seats falling forward in a crash. So Tesla to recall 11,000 Model X SUVs. This is regarding a seat issue. SUVs are manufactured between October 28, 2016 and August 16, 2017. But only about 3% of recalled vehicles may have issue, Tesla has clarified. And Tesla has recalled around 90,000 Model S sedans worldwide 2 years ago. Well, Tesla said a small number of cables in the second row fold flat seats in some models X vehicles manufactured between October and August 15 and 16 may need to be adjusted to fix the issue. The company, which is led by Elon Musk, said about 3% of recalled vehicles may have the issue, which was detected during internal testing. Tesla said it had not received reports of any issues or accidents linked to the problem. The company recalled 90,000 Model S sedans worldwide in 2015 over a possible defect in front seat belt assembly, and a year earlier it had recalled around 30,000 same model of cars over a charging defect that posed a fire hazard. Staying with global news, High-Speed Hyperloop Transit, the futuristic concept involving passenger pods, has a new fan and investor now. Hyperloop pods that could zip from San Francisco to Los Angeles in a half hour has got AS entrepreneur Richard Branson as investor. The Virgin Group, a multinational venture capital corporation run by Mr. Branson, has announced that it was investing in Hyperloop One, a Los Angeles-based company that has been developing transit technology since its founding in 2014. So transport has possibility of up to 670 miles per hour commuting. That will be more than some business aircraft in the world. Hyperloop has raised $95 million in last investment round, and so far Hyperloop has raised $245 million since 2014. Moving to India, a move aimed at checking tax evasion in the sector known for cash-based transactions and lowering prices for flat buyers in the long run. Finance Minister Jaitley has decided to kick off discussions on expanding GST to real estate sector. FM said the real estate sector can come under GST. The matter will be discussed in the next GST meeting. And petroleum products, alcohol, the real estate are out of GST so far. Under construction flats from buyers are already under GST. Jaitley said the matter will be discussed in the next meeting of Goods and Services Tax, which is scheduled on November 9. Petroleum products, alcohol and real estate. There are three sectors which are kept out of GST as several states were opposed to it. Now, several other states such as Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir have, however, backed the inclusion of real estate in the new indirect tax regime of GST. While under construction flats from buyers are already under GST, inclusion of entire value chain will mean that land purchase will face indirect tax instead of stamp duty that varies across states. And at a time when warning about Indian economy has been issued from different corners, India's annual consumer price inflation or CPI has remained steady in September from the previous month. However, hopes of a rate cut by the Reserve Bank of India remain bleak in December. So retail inflation has been steady in September. Inflation eased to 1.46% in June. And annual industrial output, it grew at a 9-month high. IIP grew at 4.3% in August, and it has dimmed the prospects of RBI going for a rate cut as it expects higher inflation in coming months. Earlier this month, RBI left interest rates unchanged after cutting key rates by 25 basis points in August, while raising its retail inflation projection for October to March to a range of 4.2 to 4.6%. and lowering its economic growth estimates. Analysts said the chances of a rate cut were bleak as higher sales during India's long festival season that begins next week, coupled with higher petrol and diesel prices, could feed into broader prices. Retail inflation has been steadily rising since June, when it eased to 1.46%, its slowest pace since India started releasing such figures in January 2012, based on combined data for rural and urban consumers. Separately, annual industrial output grew at a 9-month high of 4.3% in August as well. And staying with India news, this time news is coming from auto space. In the season of festivals, American cult bike maker Harley Davidson has launched updated versions of its 4 models in India, with price ranging between 1.99 million to 1.89 million. Company introduced Street Bob at 1.9 million, while Fat Bob at rupees 1.39 million. The classic was at 18.9, we can say that, lakh rupees when it comes to India. The 4 models now come with a stiffer and significantly lighter frame. They are powered by new engine range. The new models are faster, lighter and have better handling than their previous editions. And Finance Minister of India Arun Jaitley continues to push the India growth story at international fora. Finance Minister addressed US investors and attended a meeting of Finance Minister of G20 countries in the US. Finance Minister also participated in an interactive seminar organized by industry chambers on opportunities for investment available in India. Now, in his speeches, Finance Minister is pitching goods and services tax and even demonetization as landmark moves that will push growth in India. While the latest news on the Indian economy front seems to bear out Jaitley's optimism, an expansion in India's manufacturing sector pushed factory output to a 9-month high in August. Data released by Central Statistics Office or CSO shows manufacturing has picked pace after introduction of goods and services tax. The mining and electricity sectors too have recorded good growth ahead of festival season. And Samsung Electronics CEO known as WION has stepped down. WION, who heads Samsung's successful components business, has resigned, citing unprecedented crisis in the company and overall in the industry. He will step down from the management and even as the board member by March 2018. In a letter to the employees, he wrote, and I quote, "As we are confronted with unprecedented crisis inside out, I believe that time has come now for the company to start anew with a new spirit and young leadership to better respond to challenges arising from the rapidly changing IT industry." Though the CEO did not explain the unprecedented crisis, but his resignation comes as the de facto leader of the company. Jaitley is serving 5-year jail term for corruption. And another big news from India, this time from telecom space, where it is a big telecom merger. Tata Tele and Bharti Airtel will merge and telecoms will combine the subscriber business. 4 crore Tata Tele subscribers will join Airtel under the deal and all liabilities will be settled by Tata, while Bharti Airtel will also pay Tata's unpaid spectrum liability. So it's a big deal it was brewing into Indian space, telecom space. Now it has become a deal, a reality now, and it signs to basically consolidation. So the whole news is that the telecoms may combine telecom consumer business, but the merger has happened and over 4 crore Tata Tele subscribers will join Bharti Airtel and all liabilities will be settled by Tata and Bharti will pay Tata's unpaid spectrum liability. It signs to the consolidation that is continuing and is increasing going forward. And after Google facing an antitrust fine in European Union, it is the turn of another tech giant facing antitrust fine in a different part of the world. Global chipmaker Qualcomm is facing an antitrust fine in Taiwan. But fines are nothing new for Qualcomm. Taiwan has fined it $774 million, but before it, it has been fined for antitrust violations. Qualcomm has been fined $854 million in South Korea as well over competition laws. And Chinese regulators have also fined Qualcomm $975 million already. EU regulators have expressed antitrust concerns over Qualcomm as well in the past, and US Trade Commission has also sued Qualcomm over licensing practices. Remember, Qualcomm is in a trade war with Apple already, where Apple has said it will not give its royalty to Qualcomm because it's unethical. However, a Taiwanese commission has accused Qualcomm of having a monopoly over chip market for several so-called modern technologies which provide wireless data connectivity for mobile phones, and refused to license its technology to other industry players. In Taiwan, Qualcomm is required to submit a progress report on the matter every 6 months to the Commission on negotiations with linked parties. However, in a statement, Qualcomm said it agreed with the decision. Once the final decision is issued in the coming weeks, it will have a relook at it and can challenge it as well. Qualcomm said it will challenge decision in court. Taiwanese decision is the latest challenge to Qualcomm's business model, which involves selling chips and also licensing a suite of patents linked to how those chips are put into a phone to provide mobile data to the device. So while the regulatory and legal attacks differ in some details, a key theme is the allegation that Qualcomm uses its dominant position in the market for modem chips to charge unfair royalty rates for its patent. And in a development that could lead to expansion of losses suffered by Kobe Steel scandal, its CEO has said the data fabrication may have spread beyond Japan. While Kobe Steel CEO was ordered by government to report on how the misconduct occurred and address safety concerns that have sparked a scare along global supply chains. Kobe Steel CEO said the cheating scandal has left Kobe Steel's credibility at zero, underscoring the deepening crisis at the steelmaker and the sweep of quality problems besetting Japan's once vaunted manufacturing sector. Now, sources say managers at Kobe Steel were involved in fabricating data on products used in planes, trains, and automobiles. The company has even found possible further cases of tampering, including in overseas operations. The Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry in Japan has ordered Kobe Steel to report on the results of safety checks within about 2 weeks and the reasons for the tampering. Now, along with prevention measures in under a month, Kobe Steel also said firm is not expecting to see recalls of cars or airplanes for now, and none of the company's customers have cancelled orders. And a good day market for Indian markets. Once again, Sensex has jumped in the morning. Once again, it has gained 150 points. Nifty is also up by 50 points. Yesterday, Sensex gained 348 points and Nifty was also up by 111 points. So clearly, the bull run continues for India. And we are joined by A.K. Prabhakar, Head of Research, IDBI Capital, to get his views on the markets, India as well as global. Good morning to you, Mr. Prabhakar. First of all, I would like to ask you, the reason behind this kind of jump is the festival season, Diwali, it usually happens around that time. That is the reason, or some other reason as well?
Good morning. There are multiple reasons. One thing is, no, the results have panned out good. TCS came with the results, Cyient came with the results. So in IT, we are seeing margin expansion. Almost, no, TCS came with 160 BPS increase in margin. Cyient came with 200 BPS increase in margin. So there was a margin expansion supported by currency depreciation. And other thing is, IndusInd Bank result also was not a disappointment. Then we had IAP numbers, which was a positive surprise, and inflation is marginally down. So these are few factors which is keeping the market on positive side. And most of the people were negative few weeks back. So now we are almost nearing the all-time high levels. And by Diwali, normally Diwali is the festival season here. So normally, towards Diwali, people start buying stocks also. So that is one more additional reason why markets are seeing euphoria. And I think it will continue till or beyond Diwali also this time.
And Mr. Prabhakar, yesterday the markets in Asia, they had touched a decade high. Today also they are on a upswing. Most of the Asian markets, Nikkei, Hang Seng, are up. So what is fueling that rise over there, and what could be the possible factors to be looked out for going forward?
See, global liquidity is an important factor which is fueling the global rally. And there were talks about, many members of Fed not interested, or they were against the rate hike very quickly. So that also is something positive for the global markets and even for the Indian markets. So, except for some European problem, I think all global markets, they are on the positive side, and with low interest rates, the global rally will continue.
And also, going forward, what kind of levels do you see by the end of this year as far as Indian markets are concerned?
See, we had a view that by Diwali, Nifty can touch 10,300 to 10,500, which is on course. And by end of this calendar year, 11,000 is possible. And by end of this financial year, 12,000 is the level in Nifty we are looking at. We have not seen earnings in upgrade in a big way. Now, maybe the second half of this year, when the earnings upgrade is there, then things will be very positive.